live. Hello, welcome everyone. My name is Alex Wills, and I'll be your host for today's live conversation. Excited to be here. We've got a great session lined up for you. First, we're going to kick things off with a one-on-one discussion with Qube Money, who's currently raising on the Start Engine platform. After that, we'll roll right into a fast-paced elevator pitch competition featuring 3 additional issuers who are actively raising on the platform. Each founder will have just a short window to pitch their company, and then we'll have a little time for follow-up questions and reactions. But first, we're diving into how innovative approaches to personal finance, including solutions like Qube Money's mindful banking model, are aiming to help people create healthier, more intentional relationships with their money. We're joining today by Kevin O'Leary and Qube Money's co-founder and CEO, Shane Walker. Shane, before we jump into discussion, why don't you start off by giving us everyone a quick overview of Qube Money and the mission behind it?
Of course. Thanks, Alex. So Qube Money is pioneering a banking command center for financial intentionality. And our mission is to solve financial anxiety and save marriages.
Shane, you mentioned that traditional budgeting tends to be reactive. People look back and wonder, where did my money go? How does Qube aim to change that behavior on a day-to-day basis?
Yeah, sure. So in today's monetary system, money is largely invisible. It's lumped into one bank account and it comes in and out automatically, largely unnoticed. And that's what leaves people feeling anxious about really where their money is going. So Qube Money simply makes it visible. And Kevin, I actually love following you online and hearing you share about your early life and what you've learned from your mother, like investing a third of your income. And did she ever manage her spending by carrying cash in envelopes labeled for things like Christmas gifts or groceries, things like that?
Yeah, back in those days, they actually got paid cash every 14 days. So, and they had to go to bank tellers to deposit it or invest it. It was very complex. But actually, in some ways, that forced everybody to actually physically handle their money and see it diminish as they started distributing it. It was more powerful then. It's never going to happen again, as you say.
Yeah.
But it had people were far more responsible with their little envelope of cash every 2 weeks.
Yeah, for sure. And that's how people manage their money because it worked, right? And it was physical. And so what Qube Money is doing is developing a banking and budgeting app that enables you to simply divvy up the money in your bank account into digital envelopes, and then to spend from those envelopes with the convenience of a debit or credit card, just like opening a physical envelope to pull cash out to pay for, say, groceries. You open your Qube app and tap the grocery envelope to open it and spend from it with your card. And then Qube can automatically categorize each transaction based on which envelope you opened. And really, this makes sense because when people make decisions about money, they actually look at their bank account. That's where they go. They don't go to their budgeting app. They look at their bank account. So Qube simply aligns with the way people already make decisions about money, except now they just have much better information when they make those decisions.
Kevin, we've seen countless budgeting tools, fintech solutions over the years. When you hear about a system that tries to guide spending decisions before the money leaves the account, what stands out to you about that?
It's interesting in the sense that it works. It has worked for decades in the past. And obviously, as we've gone to digital banking, that concept of categorization has kind of drifted out. But more importantly, I think why this is important is the problem today, particularly with people that get in financial trouble. It's quite a few. On credit card debt, 23 to 28% currently, interest on the balance, is they have to in some way eventually modify their behavior. They're outspending what they bring in, and it's really a behavioral change. So any tool that helps you realize or forces to stick your nose into, actually where your money's going, and it makes you think about it when you see the envelope diminish to where there's none left in it, then you're going into deficit and you're paying huge interest. And so that we in America, unfortunately, only have a few states where they teach financial literacy. Where I am here in Florida, we do in grade school. We need that because that's really why a tool like this is important. You have to change your behavior to be compliant with saving money for the long term.
Shane, you mentioned that traditional budgeting tends to be reactive. People look back and wonder, where did my money go? How does Qube aim to change that behavior on a day-to-day basis?
Yeah, so the key is that you look at your money before you spend, or you look at your money on a regular basis. And so what Qube does is, because it takes your bank balance and divvies it up based on where you want to spend it, it creates that, instead of tracking after the fact when it's too late, the money's already gone, right? And oftentimes they're spending on credit cards. People are spending on credit cards. So they don't even realize they spent the money until 45 days or whenever that credit card payment becomes due. And so Qube creates this: look at your money, look at what the purpose is before you spend, so that you make the right decision. And it really is that simple. And it's a very seamless user experience, so that you can integrate your existing favorite credit cards where you're earning rewards and your existing bank account. But then in addition to that, having an integrated banking experience with Qube Checking, if you would like, to make so that all of that is instant, and we can actually decline your card if it's with Qube Checking, if it doesn't align with your plan. So it creates this really what people are already doing. Like I said, they already look at their bank account. That's what they do when they make decisions about their money. But it makes that much more intuitive and gives them a lot more information. And so simple and so fast. And we actually find that someone spends 2 hours a month tracking their transactions when they use a traditional budgeting app or like a spreadsheet. With Qube, it's literally 5 seconds before the purchase, and it's right in line with what they're doing. And so that's how it changes behavior. And it's been super amazing to see, like, the response that we've got from the marketplace as a result of the technology.
Shifting over to tech and AI, Kevin, from your perspective, how's AI changing consumer financial tools in general? What should founders keep top of mind when integrating AI into tools and products that help oversee something as sensitive as people's money?
Well, AI is affecting all 11 sectors of the economy. That's why it's so coveted now and why it's so valuable. But financial services is where it was used first. And so what it's incredibly good at is scraping data, analyzing it, and putting forward a suggestion, which is exactly what's happening here. And I think that's important to understand, because it's spending behavior. And, I tell people to do a very simple check, even wealthy people that I talk to just look at over a 90-day period, just 3 months, what they bring in, all sources of income, versus what they spend. And invariably what happens 2/3 of the time, sometimes more like 80%, is they're going into deficit. They're actually just spending more cash than they bring in. And a lot of it has to do with behavior, but it's also mistakes like buying a house that's too big and the mortgage is more than 1/3 of their income, all kinds of things like that. But with very wealthy people, or people that have large cash balances all over the place, they don't notice it, and they're slowly diminishing their net worth. And so it's very important to figure out a way to, first of all, get the information about your habits, because if you don't have the data, you don't know that you have to modify. And that's what's important here. It's really about, I say to my entrepreneurial companies, you have to have a dashboard every day that marks to market all your income, all your expenses. And until you have that, I'm not going to invest, because you have to be able to guide the ship. And the only way you can guide the ship is you have the dashboard. This is a similar thing. This is fundamentals. This is finance 101. And it's a good thing to make it easy for consumers to use it. This is the biggest problem facing the nation, is credit card debt for people over the age of 28. It's a huge, huge, huge problem.
Hey, Alex, can I just share something with that?
Yeah.
There's so many tools out there that provide this visibility when it comes to net worth and really your investments. But there's never been a tool that exists that does that from a spending level and engages with the individual before they spend the money. And wealthy people, I think that there really is. If you just look at it and say, hey, what's happening to my net worth overall, it works. But for the single mom and the working family, really what has to happen is they have to engage with their cash balances before they spend. And so that they can, in the moment, be guided to make the correct decision. And we just believe that that's with the bank account. And then like Kevin said, you bring in their investment account. So you bring in that net worth. And that's actually what we saw. We built a tool that would just do our account, but we didn't integrate with their other bank accounts and their other credit cards and their other investment accounts. And you have to see their whole wallet in order to make the impact that they're looking for. And so that's why we're bringing in Qube Plus into the picture as a product feature, so that it can link with their existing bank account, their other bank accounts, their other credit cards, and their investment accounts through the aggregation tools.
Shane, going back to you as well, you've mentioned significant growth and strong engagement from your user base. That's a big value prop on Start Engine for your raise. Yeah. You're also in an important phase as you transition to a new sponsor bank. What should people understand about this moment for you and the company?
Yeah. So the thing that this has forced us to do is to do exactly what I just mentioned, in that we knew we needed to play well with their other financial institutions. We were just so inundated with the Qube checking product, which was our integrated sponsor bank relationship, that there was always more to do there. And what this has done is it's forced us to integrate with the other financial institutions, which opens up the funnel massively. We're actually adding more people to the wait list than we ever did with Qube checking. Like, more people are engaging right now, and we don't even have a product release. I mean, we're in beta with Qube Plus, and just getting ready. In January, we release this to general beta. We'll also release linked credit cards. And so anyways, it's just causing growth to explode because we're doing that. And then we are still, we're making great progress to aligning with the new sponsor bank so that we can have the primary product of Qube checking, which a lot of our users really want as well.
Okay. And Kevin, just some final thoughts before we end this. Where do you see consumer finance and financial empowerment heading into the next few years?
Digitization with a combination of AI, obviously. And as I said earlier, the financial services sector is adopting AI faster than any other right now, just because the tool provides margin enhancement and productivity in a very measurable way. And so this is a good iteration of it, but it also speaks to the issue of financial literacy. This is not a small problem. This is a huge problem. This is trying to fix. It's a massive problem. And nothing has really fixed it in the last 30 years. You see almost the same percentage of people getting run over by credit card debt than you did 30 years ago. So, you know, it's really a time to focus on it, because destroying your credit, I mean, the way to look at it is it's very hard to build up a credit rating past 700, which lets you get your cost of capital goes down, particularly on mortgages, which really matters. Mostly that's the largest debt people have. So any tool that helps them stay out of trouble, which really this is doing, is very good. I mean, period, because nothing has worked. So here's another way to look at it, and maybe this will work a lot better than nothing. That's the whole idea.
Well, this has been a great conversation. I really appreciate this. Kevin, you're going to stay on, and so we're going to shift over to the elevators pitch segment as well. So I really appreciate it, Shane. Thanks for being here, and we're really looking forward to seeing what's next for Qube Money.
Awesome, Kevin. Kevin, really good to meet you, and I'm really excited about Beanstalks. I've talked to your partner on that, and there's some exciting things moving there. So
Yeah, that's why I set that up. I really want to be part of the solution. That was, something I did a long time ago because I realized, like you said, financial literacy, wow, it's a mess. It's just a mess.
yeah,
So,
it is.
all right,
Well,
thanks
thank
a
you,
lot.
Shane. All right, Kevin. Yes, you'll stay on. Really